Hello you guys, so I'm Addie back again with another video. One of my resolutions for 2025 is not so much to have resolutions as it is to just do the things that I talk about wanting to do or think about doing. I spend a ton of time on Pinterest coming up with ideas and daydreaming about stuff that I want to do, maybe making plans about what I want to do, and then often not doing those things. So in an effort to avoid being someone who talks about stuff and doesn't do it, I'm getting out there and doing it. So last week I had messaged my stepmom and asked if she could please teach me how to make her sourdough bread. Her bread is absolutely amazing. Whenever I've tried it before, my grandmother used to make bread, and I also am just tired of paying way too much dollars at the store for bread that's not very good, full of crap, full of stuff that you don't actually want to eat. So all that being said, I have made a tutorial today where she taught me. So this is not me teaching you guys. This is kind of getting a bird's eye view on when I was learning for the first time. But my stepmom is amazing. She's been a teacher for so many years. She is really good at doing all the things. So at certain points during the video, I will hop in and kind of talk about what's going on, but for the most part you're going to be able to hear us in the background as she teaches me and we walk through a learning process together. So I'm really excited about this video, and I am so thankful that you are here to watch. If you want to, feel free to save this video. I'm also going to put in the description the recipe that we used and other helpful information.
Honestly, making sourdough bread is not difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't really take that much of your time. It just takes a long time for all the processes, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
the actual doing stuff doesn't take that long. And it's better once you have done it a couple times and you kind of know, like, oh, this is what it's supposed to look like, or oh, it didn't look like what it's supposed to look like, so I need to leave it longer.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing that I have had to figure out.
Gotcha.
But typically, I don't know, it'll depend on how much bread y'all eat, but I usually, and it also depends on how big your bowl is. This bowl can do it. Mm-hmm. It's pretty big though. But if your bowl is not quite this big, you may need to half it and just do half at a time.
Okay.
And it doesn't last as long as store-bought bread because it doesn't have all this crap in it.
Yeah.
So it might be better to just make a loaf at a time. And like I said, the way that it times out, I think works. Will you hand me that towel, please? Mm-hmm. If I make the dough at night, mm-hmm. and then let it rise overnight, and then sometime in the morning, it doesn't have to be. Nothing is a rush. You just don't want to leave it like for days or that long. But if you, in the morning, then I do the second step where I put it out and put it in the loaf pan.
Gotcha.
And then it has to rise for 2 to 4 hours. And so I just am halving everything on the recipe.
Sounds good.
And you put the flour in last because you don't always put exactly what it says.
Okay. So we use, for half, we're using how much?
Half a cup, because this is a full cup.
Okay.
And it says active and bubbly, which means, because I just fed it last night.
Okay.
So I could have fed it again today, mm-hmm. but it was still kind of bubbly. See how the bubbles are in there?
Yep. Bubbly. So we used half a cup of starter.
Yes.
Perfect.
And then I'll move that out of the way, just so we can. And then 1 tablespoon of honey.
I haven't been on a roller coaster.
Well, I can't hardly do it.
I haven't tried since I had kids. I'm just trying to do this a little bit.
Okay. So I got the honey and the salt.
We got salt and honey, so I did 1 tablespoon of honey and
half a tablespoon of salt.
Perfect.
And then if you could grab the butter. And then I need 1 1/4 cup of water. Gotta do math.
So butter.
You can dump all that in there.
We got, what is that? Half a stick?
It's half a stick.
Half a stick of butter. Scoop.
Yeah, sorry, you can just set it there. And then that was one and a quarter,
Okay.
because it was half of the water. Now, you put everything in before the flour.
Okay.
And now it calls for 8 for the full amount. So it would be 4 if we did all the way, but I think on my last one, I only ended up putting maybe 7 or a little bit more, but I didn't go all the way to 8. But you can kind of, that's why they said to use the flour last.
Okay.
Because you can.
Tell the consistency.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll probably put 3 cups in there and then mix it and see what it looks like. And then I have another cup that I can add. Or actually more. So that's 1 cup, because this is a half a cup.
Okay.
2 cups.
I have a KitchenAid mixer on my registry, so fingers crossed for that.
3 cups. So now we're gonna. Well, a lot of times they have them on Marketplace.
Ooh, I'm gonna look out.
I mean,
It doesn't have to be new, it's just gonna work.
I have used the heck out of this one. I've had it since the first time your dad went to Africa.
Ah.
Oh, we were gonna do it by hand, but I will.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm gonna scrape all this down. And see, it's still kind of mushy, so I'm gonna put a little bit more flour in there.
Yeah. I think I assume it's probably similar to when I make my pizza dough. You don't want it to be too doughy, sticky.
Correct.
You want it to be where it's like.
It's supposed to be smooth.
Yeah.
Which,
So we added like
about 1/4 of a cup.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bit more. And I may end up adding the rest of this, may not. We'll see how that goes. But it's easier to add it slowly. And when it all starts picking up everything that went around the side, then you know that's doing the things. And mine, I think it always tells you to like let that go 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't ever
leave it that long.
I am gonna add a little bit.
She's starting her steak.
Well, it's also, it's supposed to all kind of come together. So now I've added a 1/2 cup total. So we've got a 1/2 cup left to be at exactly that, but we can also go over depending on
How it looks and what it is.
I like things that don't have to be exact.
Yeah. Well, and then once you get good at eyeballing it, then you know it's supposed to look like you can kind of do it.
It's kind of like making your biscuit dough. You know what it's supposed to look and feel like, and once you kind of know that, it makes it easier.
Yeah, once you get good at a few things, you kind of know.
I'm gonna put a bit more because it's too.
Thanks for showing me.
You're welcome. That's pretty close. I'm gonna put just a splash more, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, not too much. I totally see what you're saying. Like I asked, we watched the biscuits the other day.
You heard it was really good.
Oh my goodness, so good. I can't wait for the second part to come out. I'll definitely have to see that in theaters. I wonder if it's still in theaters.
It's still pretty sticky, so I'm gonna
do a little more.
Just a tad, because
it's right there on that the precipice of.
Yes, because you don't want to put too much flour, but if it's too sticky, then it's too hard to handle.
Yeah. And then you waste because it's getting all over your hands and it's not actually.
And then actually, this is where we can do the old-fashioned
Kneading it out.
See, if it pulls away pretty easily,
yeah.
like I mean, it's sticky, but it doesn't
Yeah.
completely stick.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna take this off and just sprinkle and do the rest of it by hand to see. You just want to make sure you get flour on your hands.
Yeah. Because otherwise you'll be gonna sticky.
Yeah.
Ooh. It looks like Play-Doh.
It does. And if it sticks to my hands some, then I usually put just
A little bit more.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
But not, I don't want it to be too dry.
Yeah.
And are your hands clean? If they are, you can feel, I just washed. Sprinkle a little, hold your hands over the bowl and I'll sprinkle some flour on it. Rub it together and then you can kind of feel.
Oh, yeah. That's just how I imagined it.
So you can put that in, just drop it in there.
Okay.
And then in there with the light on and I cover it.
Just like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you definitely don't want to turn it on with the cloth in there.
Okay. What?
Okay, the second thing I need.
So then this has rested for about how long?
It's rested now for 12 hours,
Okay.
which I just took the other one out sooner
Okay.
for the purposes of being able to show you all the things.
Yep.
So this parchment paper, pour it out to kind of pull it away.
Yep. Yum.
This one kind of stuck a little bit more, but
Okay.
it's still gonna be okay. Okay, I need to get some more.
Flour?
Yes, please. You probably could just bring the cup if there's any left. And then it says to roll it out, but you don't really have to roll it out with a rolling pin.
Gotcha.
You can, I think I need just a tiny.
So when it gets sticky and isn't wanting to work, we just add another little layer of flour.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of just, now I flatten it into kind of like a little rectangle.
Okay.
And it's still kind of sticky, but. And then we roll it up.
Okay.
And just make a little loaf with it.
Okay.
And plop it in. Like a little baby in the bassinet.
Baby in the basket.
And then this one, when you get finished with step 2,
Yep.
you also can put it in the oven with a warm light.
Gotcha.
Now, especially in the summer when it's hot or warmer, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can leave it sitting out.
Okay.
But in my house, I keep it cold.
Okay.
So that's what I do, and I'm going to share the cloth. And then that's supposed to sit there for 2 to 4 hours. Oh, oops, sorry.
Perfect. That's okay. So we just add it in, same cloth.
2 to 4 hours.
2 to 4 hours
Okay.
of a resting loaf.
Once the loaf comes out, it's supposed to double.
Okay.
This may or may not be exactly double what I put in there.
Yep.
But I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
And I did not preheat my oven like a moron. Let me wash my hands.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna close her up. Wow! Boom. Just like that. 45 minutes. Good time. Boop, 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 boop. Doo, 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 doo.
it really doesn't matter the amount once you have a starter. I usually do a half a cup or a fourth of a cup, depending, because you don't want to put too much to where your jar overflows.
Right.
So, but you just put equal parts water and flour.
Okay.
And that's it.
There you go.
So I've got half a cup.
Okay.
And half a cup. And it's just regular all-purpose flour.
Perfect.
And then we just stir it up.
And then when a starter gets started, is it a yeast that's in there? How does that work? I don't know anything about it, you know.
I think that,
Just curious.
yes, well, I don't know that exactly, but it acts like yeast if it isn't yeast.
Gotcha.
But I don't really know. But I know that when your starter is young and it's not mature, that you can add yeast.
Gotcha.
So if it's not rising like it should, but you also need to make sure that you feed it ample time before you use it.
Yeah.
For that to
Make sure it's done.
for it to rise right too.
Gotcha.
That's what it means when it says active bubbly starter. It means you've fed it within a certain number of hours.
How often do you?
Well, here's the thing. I keep mine in the fridge, and once a week is sufficient.
Okay.
And if sometimes I've gone two,
Okay.
it will develop what's called hooch
Okay.
on the top,
Uh-huh.
and you can kind of see it. It's kind of gray.
Okay.
Look, it's not like moldy or anything. It's just kind of a liquid that forms.
Yeah.
And you can kind of just pour it off.
Gotcha.
Or sometimes I just get a spoon because sometimes the top gets a little more solid.
Gotcha.
And I just kind of scrape off the top and get all the gray stuff out
Okay.
and wash it down, and then
Go.
it's fine.
Okay. Gotcha.
But if I get it out and leave it on the counter when I know that I'm going to use it, like
Gotcha.
like last night I fed it and left it on the counter
Gotcha.
because it
Is it
Something
more
about
active in the warmer? Gotcha. Gotcha.
yeah. So and some people leave theirs out on the counter, but you have to pay much more attention to it.
Yeah.
Because during the week and stuff when I'm at work, I don't always want to fool with it.
Right.
So that's why I do not leave it out all the time. But
Gotcha.
if you're going to use it like for a couple of days in a row, you can leave it out.
Okay.
Just as long as you're paying attention to it.
Gotcha. Will it, how does it act if it gets left out? Like, is it going to be like more trying to bubble over or something silly like that, or?
Well, I'm not really 100% sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
I believe that it can potentially go bad.
Gotcha.
But I don't know what that looks like.
Okay.
Because I've not,
Let that happen.
yeah.
Perfect. We're not going to find out.
Yeah, that's one reason I know that you can be less attentive to it if you leave it in the fridge.
Gotcha,
And that's
okay.
why,
It's I'm sure it makes the fermentation process slower is what.
yes.
I
And I
see.
guess, and some people, even with the hooch on there, some people just mix it in, but it leaves a definitely more pungent, whatever word.
Flavor.
Yeah. And that's probably where the sour and sourdough comes from, but I
Makes
don't
sense.
care for it.
Yeah, no.
So I don't usually,
with you.
I pour it off.
And then, so this particular go is more sandwich bread, you said?
This is a sandwich bread recipe, yes.
Gotcha.
The other recipe is similar, but it has zero sugar or
Gotcha.
honey or anything.
Gotcha.
It's mainly just flour and water.
Gotcha.
Maybe a little bit of salt.
Gotcha.
But it has, you mix the dough and then it's like you let it sit for a little bit and then you do what they call folding, which is basically just working it kind of like you just roll it around and then let it sit for a little bit and then roll it around a little bit more and let it sit and do it a couple times and then it has to overnight rise or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then you put it in a skillet instead of a bread loaf pan,
Gotcha.
but you still use the parchment paper
Gotcha.
and then you cook it in the oven.
Alrighty, you guys, there it is. I hope you learned a ton of really cool stuff. I am ordering some stainless steel bread pans I'm not ordering, actually my grandmother is ordering me some stainless steel bread pans from Amazon for me to use with my own cooking because I didn't have any bread pans. So the things mentioned, you might want to get parchment paper, You might want to get bread pans. Other than that, it's very simple ingredients from the store. It does not take very long. And I made grilled cheese on this sourdough bread that we made. It's absolutely divine. It is just the best thing that I've ever had. So thank you so much for taking a minute to watch this video. Feel free to give our channel a like, follow, subscribe, share it with someone. As I learn and do things with the people in my life, I'm going to be just documenting it and saving it along the way so that other people can have it too. So anyway, thanks for sharing a snow day project with me. Getting this second YouTube video out is what I've been spending my day doing. So let me know, have you guys ever made sourdough bread? What is your favorite part of it? And I can't wait to see you in the next one.